Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Disattractions. We hope that you're having a good day and a good last week of April, I guess, now that we're recording, but this will probably come out in May. So hopefully you're having a good start to May.
It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May, Brittany.
Yeah.
Which is on theme for our episode.
We've been doing this for a while, so have you done anything since we started this podcast? We're about 12 episodes in. Have you had a child?
13 episode. Today's the 13th episode.
13th episode. Have you had a child while we've started this? Have you gotten married?
That's crazy. Have you had a child? Did you name him Disattractions? Does he know about the amazing content known here on this channel?
Yeah. So we're just wondering, what have you done in the last 6 months? Comment below.
Comment below. Have you committed a felony? Comment below.
Tell people that.
Yeah. You've committed a misdemeanor? Put that in the thing below. Committed a felony? Put that in the thing below. But today we have a cool special episode.
Commit tax evasion? Are you watching this from a padded cell?
They put you in a padded cell for tax evasion? That's crazy.
Welcome to Trump's America.
But so today, getting on topic, is actually a pretty interesting episode because this will be a multi-part episode that we wanted to do because this is something we can really work with and have a lot of tangible ideas about. And from the title of this episode, you can already tell we're going to do a 90s to 2000s nostalgia park, which I'm sure a lot of people might be interested in because 90s to 2000s nostalgia is very in right now. And so we thought it'd be a great idea to, make a whole theme park based off of it. And I honestly think tickets would be sold if something like that would open. And so how this episodes are going to work is we're going to create different sections of the park, and each week here and there, it's not going to be consistently every upload we do. We'll throw it in between other ones maybe, but we'll go back to this as a consistent theme. Yeah, we'll do one section of the park and really dive in on it so that we can have a really in-depth vision on how we want this whole theme park as a whole to look. So in today's episode, we're just focusing on one section of the park. We want to try this out so that we can, if it turns out to be really well, we come up with more detailed and creative ideas this way. It might be helpful for us to do this in the future, to really break down parks section by section. But we're just going to try out new things and see what sticks, honestly. And so this episode, we're going to be doing Brett's favorite thing ever.
Movies.
Obama.
Obamacare the ride.
The Obama presidency.
Go in, care. It's great.
Two favorite things, Bush and Obama. Anyways.
Is that a bottle of wine you just picked up?
I said Bush and Obama.
Oh, okay.
The presidents of the early 90s or the 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah. Anyways. George W. Bush the ride, okay?
We're not pitching that. We're doing today on movies. We're going to do it all on early new 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s movies. And so obviously Brett's going to have a lot of knowledge about that. I have some knowledge. Not as much as I should, but, enough to go around.
Yeah. And
so, we were thinking of this idea because, again, it's how versatile. We kept coming up with ideas for it. That's how we usually try to pick something out for a podcast episode. Is we say an idea and then we keep coming up with ideas through that one idea. So that's how this topic got started, and yeah. And so we just have a whole bunch of ideas here for you about specifically this area of the park, which is themed after early 2000s movies. Do you have anything you want to say about late 90s to early 2000s movies in general? Maybe some movie knowledge from a movie perspective?
It's interesting because, the early 2000s is an incredibly weird decade because some people do believe that's, when quote-unquote film died, Mm-hmm. So a lot of film aficionados, and I just realized that, wait, is my mic working?
Yeah, it's all working good.
Okay, well, if my audio sounds like trash after this, like that's my bad because I think it's plugged. Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
It
sorry.
sounds good on my end.
Okay. Cool. Anyways, so a lot of people will tell you that 1999 was probably the best year for film of all time. There's been entire books written about how 1999 changed film, and 1999 was like this huge cultural impactful moment. A few titles that came out that year were like Fight Club, American Beauty.
I would
Toy
move your
Story
mic a little bit because I think
2, The
it's
Iron
I think it's
Giant.
reacting. Your mic,
What?
can you shift it over a little bit? I think it's tweaking a little bit.
Is this better?
Much better.
Okay.
Restart
What
your
do
sounds.
I need to start over?
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
We're live.
We'll do it live. Bill
Yeah, we'll
O'Reilly.
do it live.
So yeah, 1999 was a Muppets from Space, everyone's favorite Muppet movie. You know, and 1999 was a big deal. There's even an entire podcast called Party Like It's 1999 where these two guys reviewed every single movie from 1999. They're having to do another year now because they literally covered everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a very culturally important year for film in general. And then after that, like some people were like, "Well, 1999, it ended with a bang." You know, the new millennium, like filmmakers started to go to digital, and original ideas stopped. But then some people are like, "Oh yeah, no, the 2000s were good. It was kind of 2010 whenever things started to shift." The 2000s was definitely the birth of the modern superhero movie, which, you know, Scorsese could tell you all about that. But I don't know. Looking at it, it's interesting. I think that we have a much more vibrant landscape of film today than we did in 2000. But in 2000, it's hard to explain. There was still some really innovative movies coming out in 2000, but it feels like they're more appreciated today than they were when they came out. Even like movies like, for instance, like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, or even Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, which were like movies that were kind of like mocked upon release, and now sell out a movie theater. They got re-released today because people grew up with them, and now there's like this new appreciation. Or even like Raja Gosnell's Scooby-Doo live-action movies, where like those movies are goofy and stupid, but like people grew up with them, and now like they're kind of respected as like
people are gonna
movie.
say the same thing about the Minecraft movie that they do about the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie,
Yeah.
Which is peak cinema. You can't beat it, you know.
Yeah.
But we got movies in the 2000s like There'll Be Blood and Eternal Sunshine, The Spotless Mind, and some of these totemic. I mean, I think 2000s is definitely the rise of Wes Anderson. In the world. Well, I mean, Wes Anderson really took off in '99. Well, it's again '99 with Rushmore. His first movie was Bottle Rocket, but like it didn't do huge. But Rushmore was a big thing. So I don't. It's interesting. It's an interesting era for film. A terrible era for the Oscars. Terrible era for the Oscars. But also, like, I think the thing you have to recognize is the 2000s. If you look back, were dominated by children's animated movies.
True, 100%.
That was the thing that was keeping the box office industry alive. Specifically Pixar. Pixar, I think, was the biggest success story out of the 2000s.
Yes.
But even like the Shrek series by DreamWorks were like huge cultural movies. You know, if you look at some of the top grossing movies of the 2000s, they're going to be CGI animated kids movies.
Yeah.
Which killed 2D in its tracks, which is sad. But
true.
Like,
so when Pixar released, obviously, Toy Story, it was a game changer because that was the first like feature-length film made in 3D animation. And this was obviously very new. And it was a way that it was so new to the point where that's where it overtook everything, because it was something like, oh my gosh, you have 3 dimensions now you can work with. Same thing for video games. Again, that's my knowledge on things. Is once 1990, the mid-90s came out, video games got made 3D, 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 3D. Until you got enough of that. Then they reverted back to 2D for a while. And they still remain a healthy equilibrium today. But me knowing about movies is, I think exactly that's true. Pixar started this trend of having children's animated movies, but also that people like me could enjoy, people my age could enjoy, or anybody could enjoy, and that really stuck with Pixar as well as DreamWorks, because DreamWorks was pumping out movies during this time as well. But and then you have the change of those movies once the 2010s hit, because then you got movies like Hotel Transylvania. You got movies like, even to a point, Despicable Me. Despicable Me's fine. I'm just saying is that there's the obvious shift of movies to where it was not just a fad anymore. It was the way movies were going to be made from here on out when it came to animated movies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's my knowledge. I don't have a lot of knowledge on movies, but that's just my input.
Well, there was this, because like in the early 2000s, Disney's made like Lilo and Stitch, Emperor's New Groove, very good, very successful movies. Those movies were not nearly as successful as the 90's canon of Disney. Those have gotten a lot more appraisal over time, especially Lilo and Stitch. I mean, that movie's huge now, but like at the time, it did well, but it wasn't like it was Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of get to this point where Disney is releasing Home on the Range.
I forgot about Home on the Range.
Treasure Planet, which I know people love Treasure Planet now, but like at the time, that thing was like maybe the most public Disney bomb of all time. Like the Black Cauldron, like it tanked at the box office. People did not care about that movie. And then in the turn, kind of like there was this turn where it really did feel like Pixar was carrying Disney, and the characters and the worlds and the environments from Pixar was what was defining Disney in the 2000s. I genuinely believe we would not see the huge thing that Disney is now as a corporate media if it wasn't for Pixar.
I 100% agree with you.
They wouldn't own Star Wars. They would have, because like they were struggling to keep up with the trends, and Pixar just kind of.
And that's what Disney does best. Disney isn't a creative field as much anymore. They're more of a business partner that knows how to buy good studios.
Yeah,
and just work.
Even like, I don't know if you know about, like, this is a crazy story. So, Pixar was kind of frustrated that they were kind of being coddled by Disney, essentially, because they were like, you need us, we don't need you, type of mentality. You were 100% right. And Disney was like, no, we don't need you. Well, we could make these movies ourselves. And so, Pixar essentially said, bet, cool. So, fun fact, Ratatouille was pitched as a movie as a way for Disney to be like, no, we don't have anything to do with that. Can we please not sign that contract to keep Pixar? Because they said, if we pitched a concept about a rat being a chef at a restaurant, they're going to be like, no, that's really gross. Like, who would go see that movie? Like, that's why that movie was originally pitched. 100%. Was for them to get out of the contract. And it didn't work. They made the greatest film ever made. But that's neither here or there. So, essentially, Pixar's like, we want to go do our own thing. See you later. Disney went, no, we want to work together. We want to show you that we can also make good art. And so essentially they said, we're going to make a movie, and if it's successful, we should continue to work together. If it's not successful, you can leave. Essentially. And that movie was Chicken Little. And they're like, this is gonna be our first CGI animated movie. We're gonna show everyone that we can do this as well as Pixar. And obviously, it's a critical bomb, but a slight commercial success. So Disney's still trying to pass it off as like, yeah, no, we did well. Yeah. And it was like, no, you didn't. Yeah. And so then essentially, Eisner ends up leaving the Disney company around that time. Iger comes in. Iger just straight up buys Pixar for like $7 billion, and they've owned them since. Yeah. But this is a complete tangent.
You're good.
But essentially, Disney and Pixar had a kind of symbiotic relationship. Disney helped promote Pixar movies, but they didn't technically outright own them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just bought the company.
Gotcha.
Because essentially Iger came in and made the point of like, yeah, y'all would have been screwed if Pixar wasn't making masterpieces right now. All right. So this is kind of crazy. The 2000s is a crazy time.
Yeah, moving all that information. I mean, those are all about 2000s movies, so we're still kind of on topic here.
Yeah.
But how do we take all of that history of the 2000s and early time of movies and put it all into a theme park?
Michael Eisner the ride.
Michael Eisner the ride. And so we've come up with our little idea known as Blu-ray Beach.
Yeah.
We want to theme these different areas based off of different environments and kind of put the movies in them so that it's more focused. I want to more focused, but like more intricate. So it's called Blu-ray Beach. The whole area themed is basically a beach, and you walk into the area as like you're going into like a. I guess this would be a disc tray for a Blu-ray. I was thinking VCR, but that wouldn't make sense if a VCR was named Blu-ray Beach. What do you think about that? That would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. I keep picturing a Phineas and Ferb episode. Instead of Backyard Beach,
Blu-ray Beach, the Blu-ray Beach, yeah. But yeah, Blu-ray Beach is our idea here, and so I think it'd be really cool if it was like almost like a boardwalk kind of like type thing where you went off to different areas and you could experience different movies.
And the boardwalk's made of different Blu-rays of different 2000s movies.
That'd be so cool.
Be cute.
That would be really cute. And have
I just Michael Clayton made by George Clooney. Honey, it's Michael Clayton. I just stepped on Michael Clayton.
No, dude. George Clooney stole my wallet.
I just stepped on Milk with Sean Penn.
There you go.
Oh,
But if you step on the B movie, dude, you get shot on sight.
Ooh, yeah. I just stepped on the Hurt Locker, and it made my foot hurt. You know what I'm saying? But
nice.
Yeah.
So we've decided to come up with three attractions to pick from to summarize the entire movie decade and a half of the 90s and early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And the three we have.
We picked 3 totemic movies.
Yeah, these are like Mean Girls, School of Rock. Yes, Jack Black again. He's back.
Yeah.
Basically, man, we're just glazing him at this point. And lastly, the B movie.
Yeah.
After we just got this long spiel about how Pixar saved the 2000s, not a single Pixar movie is here.
Well, the tough thing is, Pixar movies are all kind of rides now. Most of them.
Yeah, no, that's true. 100%.
Original, like there is a Finding Nemo ride.
The only Pixar movie that isn't is A Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, Good Dinosaur the ride.
It turns into the bad dinosaur at night.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, Mean Girls, School of Rock, and the B movie. Those are ideas for our rides. And I'm thinking like this would be like almost the Santa Monica Pier-esque, which would make sense because it's kind of in California, Hollywood, for movies. So you could have like these kind of rides kind of off of those. And so I'm going to let you take it away with what's coming up on the spot right now because we haven't gone anywhere farther than this of a Mean Girls attraction on the spot.
So, for Mean Girls, we're going to have a stage show, okay?
Is this going to be on the pier?
This is going to be on the pier.
Wonderful.
But you're going to go into a building.
Oh, so it's going to be like a separate external building.
Yeah, but it's on the pier.
Gotcha.
All right? And it's like arena seating. 5,000 people.
5,000? This is like full on.
Square Garden to shit.
Yeah.
All right. And the people, they're all mic'd up and stuff. A prisoner will come out and be like, somebody become a volunteer, okay? Everyone raises their hand. And that person goes, you right here, come up here. So they come up here, and they're like, well, what am I volunteering for? And they say, everyone, come up with your best insults for this person. So people raise their hand and be like, "You suck. You're ugly," or whatever.
That'd be such a problematic idea, but it's funny. You think it's gonna stop at "you suck" and "you're ugly"? You think it's gonna stop at that? This is, gosh, dude, it's like pro racism the ride, dude.
Yeah. Nothing about this could be a bad idea.
No, nothing at all. So it's just public
means-
embarrassment the ride, or like the experience. It's literally exactly what Mean Girls is, but also like every single one of like the workers is wearing like really early 2000s clothing, so really bright neon kind of shirts or something, and like maybe like low-rise skinny jeans or something, or like
Yeah.
the belly button piercings and shit. Like, you know, like
This one's definitely Mitt Romney's favorite attraction.
golly.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney meet and greet at the Mean Girls attraction at 3. But what is this going to be called? It's going to be called Mean Girls Get Your Mean On.
Get your mean on.
I don't know. Mean Girls Mean Off?
Yeah. I was gonna say That's So Fetch, but that's Clueless. Clueless is a better movie than Mean Girls. Hot take. Anyways, that's not even a hot take. I think
Mean
most
Hurls, because you're hurling insults.
mean. Mm,
I want to come up with something funny for
why
this.
can't I think of any Mean Girls references right now? I don't like Mean Girls that much. Fun fact.
Bro's looking up quotes right now for Mean Girls.
I literally am.
But again,
You can't sit with us the ride because they're technically not sitting. They're standing.
everyone in the auditorium is standing. There's
Yeah.
no seats.
There's no seats.
You walk in and it's just floor after floor of conglomerate. Like it's straight up like you go in there and it's like. So what design are we thinking about for this auditorium? Is it like you say Coliseum style? I'm thinking of like WWE Super Slam black, like black tops.
The presenter to John Cena for every
Literally, he's like, you can't see me. That's funny. But yeah, that's an interesting idea. I don't know.
It's content cop the ride.
Honestly, it's just YouTube 20. We could pitch the same idea as 2016 commentary channel The Ride.
Yeah.
2016 YouTube channel.
Here's the ride.
Yeah, dude, freaking Leafy meet and greet.
Leafy greet.
Leafy greet.
Great.
Is there anything else you want to add on to the Mean Girls? What's the queue look like? Let's get into this. What's the queue look like, Brett? Let's get into Don't spit out your water.
It's literally the lobby of a Holiday Inn. You're walking down.
Well, the whole what is it called? I can't freaking speak. What's wrong with me? The exterior of the building just looks like a normal Holiday Inn. It's a Holiday Inn on the pier. Like you don't even know it's a Mean Girls ride until you get in this. It just says it's just Holiday Inn, and people are like, "Oh, this is the hotel of the park," but no, this is a ride.
and you can literally get reservations to the hotel. Get charged actual money for it, and it's not a hotel.
Well, you go in there and you're like, I'm going to check in for, I have my check-in time at 4, and they're like, all right, come this way, and you just get led to a VIP box viewing of like someone getting berated.
Or that's how the person gets chosen to get berated.
It's just whoever buys the room the day gets to be the berated.
This person has money, so they have to suck. Let's.
Oh my god.
Yeah, wait. What if the hotel was like an astronomical price? Like they're like, this is $100,000.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody pays for it, so they're like, we're bullying you for paying that much.
Oh my
for a hotel room.
gosh. That's crazy. But then you go, why do you say is a Holiday Inn very special, like specific in Mean Girls for some reason, or is that just a meme?
No, that's just a meme.
It's just a meme.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Mean Girls when I think of it. I've never watched it. I'm just thinking of like characters from the film having Hall of Shame,
Yeah.
like plaques around the whole entire queue, and they're like most likely to commit manslaughter. Most likely.
Where Regina puts up flyers.
I don't know anything about Mean Girls, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched the musical version of it. Nothing. I've never really watched it. But.
So there's a scene where Regina starts putting like she takes papers and she throws them everywhere. I remember.
Gotcha.
And so in the pre-show we could just have papers fall from the sky sometimes. And they're like, what did they say again? Man, it's been a year. Well, it's actually only been a year since I watched this movie. Why can't I not remember? This was not the right choice for us to make an attraction.
We were gonna do Flushed Away, but we replaced it with Mean Girls again because we started off with Mean Girls and we said no, let's do Flushed Away. Then we went back to Mean Girls. But this is funny.
Well, but there could be flyers. Yeah, those flyers should be a thing.
So it sounds like it's not this solid, but you know what? It's there. Then once you leave,
it's pretty good, and I think there's absolutely nothing wrong that could happen making this attraction. It's incredibly safe and not problematic.
No, and even at the end, you'll get a full dissertation of what insults were thrown at you and why they're true. While you leave.
So you can't get the. I don't know if we should keep this in or not. This is a really funny joke. You can get the slur package.
Oh my gosh!
So if you pay $20 more, you're allowed to use any slur.
That's crazy. You're just calling out the N-word pass. That's literally what you're saying. That's crazy, dude.
No, it's so the slur package is $25. The N-word pass is $50.
Oh my god! Yeah. It's cheaper to buy all of the slurs instead of just one.
But it excludes the N-word.
Oh, and so it's literally just every single other one. That's crazy. There's worse stuff said on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I don't. If Kevin decides to keep this part in, I don't endorse slurs.
Well, yeah, never, ever, dude.
Very much just a silly bit.
This is totally a silly bit.
Anyway,
slurs, boo.
Yeah, no, we're very anti-slur. You should edit and just point music, and then a title transition that's anti-slur approved. Disattraction.
Mitt Romney approved this anti-slur message.
He did.
What was I gonna say? Oh, continuing on.
Action where Big Bird beats up Mitt Romney. Anyway.
That's in the Mitt Romney part that we're gonna have with Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's gonna be on the podcast.
He will be
one day.
Ted Lasso for some reason.
Moving on, I guess, from Mean Girls. I guess that's gonna be in one section, kind of near the pier. The next one we got is School of Rock. We should make this an actual ride instead of just like a.
We got to do something different than just Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've
pitched that 5 times at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So you're on Jack Black's stomach. No, I'm just kidding.
The thing is that I would go on that ride and be like, "Oh, that's a very Jack Black thing to do."
Yeah.
Just launch.
Mm-hmm. So the pre-show,
and you go in. So you go in, you sit down, and you're guided to a desk. Guided just to a desk, and you have to sit down in the little desk, and the room's all dark, and all you can see is the desk. And then you look up, and the lights are turned on in the pre-show, and you look around yourself, and it's just 20 versions of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because it's School of Rock. And they all look at you, and you have to do a presentation on why bald people suck in front of 20 Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Right.
As a bald person, I could say that.
Yeah. Kevin can throw the bald slur.
Yes, you're bald. The B word.
The B word. So School Rock Ride. The line is kind of like your typical classroom, right? But then you can hear Jack Black screaming like, "Man, I love Metallica" or whatever in a classroom.
Before we continue, wouldn't it make sense, instead of making the Mean Girls a literal Holiday Inn, and just put the two rides together in a school?
It would, but we're not going to. We have to keep the Holiday.
And then Mr. Worldwide pops up, and he's like, what's this song about the Holiday Inn? I forget. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so you're going. The line is basically like the lunchroom or something, and in line you can be thrown food at you, like a food fight, and sometimes you'll just get hit with like guacamole or something.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. It'll get all over your clothes.
Yeah. Oh no! Spaghetti alert! And someone gets like just dunked with spaghetti.
Mm-hmm. Somebody just walks up to you, an actor just sneezes on you and leaves.
So continue what you were saying before I interrupted you with the whole entire Holiday Inn.
Yeah, you can walk through like the school, and then there's a pre-show, and Jack Black is like, "I killed your teacher." I was kidding.
Yeah, nice.
I
got kidnapped by Muppets again.
No, Jack Black shows up in the pre-show, and he's like, "Rock on, guys! I'm going to be your substitute teacher today." And like, he takes a textbook, and it's like U.S. economy. He goes, "Who needs to know about this?" And he rips it up. "You're in a theme park. You pay $25 for parking. You don't know anything about economics."
I think you've made the $25 per parking joke like 5 times on this podcast.
I feel like that was no. I talked to you about how they made that joke at Universal.
Oh, they did.
So I did, yeah. But anyway, you can have something where he's like, yeah. So we're not going to be learning about anything. We're going to be learning about the most important thing. And ladies and gentlemen, that's rock and roll, like that.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Come, follow me." And so the ride vehicles are desks. They're like student desks.
That's kind of fun.
You can sit in. And then he goes, "All right, guys, let's learn. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1." And then after that, you start spinning, and it goes 120 miles an hour.
6.5 G's.
Yeah. And crackling distorted speakers are just blasting War of Pigs from Black Sabbath.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Or Iron Man. "I am Iron Man." And you're just spinning around.
Gosh,
if
dude.
you survive the ride, you get a sticker.
What was the we did something like that before, where it was like, was it the loaded diaper coaster we did? And if you survived, or like if you died on the ride, there was something. We said something about that, but
Yeah.
I think honestly having your bike vehicles be desks would be really fun, and like it's like Jack Black going around the school just almost like he's in his own music video, because that's what Jack Black would do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would be cute. Okay, this would be cute if it was actually like a dark ride, and you go through just like a little animated Jack Black, and he's like, "All right, friends, let's go learn about some music. First off, so we can go like, here's Black Sabbath," and then we see like a scene of pigs like battling each other in war. "This is War of Pigs. Now here's Led Zeppelin. We're going to go up a stairway to heaven." And then you go up a stairway to heaven, like drop, or whatever, into some water. He goes, "Next up, we're going to learn about Aerosmith. Rock This Way." And then he like throws a rock at your head.
Walk this way?
rock this way.
Let's walk this way. He said walk this way. You could even do like ragdoll or something, or like.
Yeah. Dude looks like a lady.
That'd be kind of funny. What was I gonna say? You could like, yeah, or something like that, or like, you could even like have this whole joke on how like rock's the best music ever or whatever, and he like the music class is like, they told me that I need to teach you about Bach. Who wants to listen to old people?
Yeah, and then he's like, my kids are listening to Morgan Wallen. He takes Morgan Wallen and shoves him on the wall. Who cares about that? It could be very Superstar Limo, but good.
Yeah.
Like, we could be seeing, like, these rock stars come out and be like, oh, here's Kiss. Kiss. I want to rock and roll all night. All right, Gene Simmons, shoot out that flame from your guitar. And then, like,
shoot out that tongue.
Shoot out that tongue.
Yeah.
I used to brush my teeth. You listen to that song every night.
Here's Pink Floyd.
I did do that.
Here's Pink Floyd. Don't do drugs, kids.
You remember Tooth Tunes?
Yeah, Tooth Tunes, yeah. We can sell that.
Yeah, my Tooth Tunes was I want to rock and roll all night.
That's funny.
So I listen to it every day.
Yeah. You could have like, again, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, like it's a little dark ride talking about how you or just different old rock and roll bands.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now it's your turn to rock, and maybe the ride has like a very specific thing where like the front left rider has a guitar, the front right one has a bass, the one back left has a drum, and the one of them has like a microphone. Like this is all digital, and like you could pretend to play the guitar or whatever. Either that, or it could like drop you off almost kind of like an ImageWorks at the end of Figment, where like you could play pretend guitars, have like a fake drum set on the ground you can jump on or something like that. Right?
Yeah. Go talk to Jack White and pet the white elephant.
What?
Yeah.
I'm confused about that.
Wait. No. Cut that. That didn't make any sense. Go talk to Jack White and pet the elephant, because the Rock, that album, Elephant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got you.
Seven Nation Army moment.
Yeah, Seven Nation Army moment.
Yeah, I don't know why I said white elephant at first.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. I think that you could easily incorporate a lot of different ideas into it. I think you could also like have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add for the School of Rock ride?
Rock on,
bros. Jack Black again appearing. Jack Black's probably the biggest contributor to the Pluto 42.
Yeah. Oh, there's a moment where he's like, "Okay, we're going to be talking to Radiohead now," and then there's like really depressed, and he's like, "All right, maybe we should save that for another lesson. I don't want to get you down right now."
It'd be literally like he'd be like, "Let's go listen to Radiohead. How many of you here are from Portland?" And they go,
How many
of you think you're different?
How many of you here have kissed someone? None of you. We're listening to Radiohead right now. All right, we'll go through Weezer.
You'll go through Weezer.
Wrestle with Jimmy, and you just see people wrestling each other. This is good.
This is such a silly idea.
I like it.
And then at the end, like
the ride's actually really cute. I think that'd be fun.
It is a cute little ride. Also, it's nostalgic. Moving on, I guess, kind of abruptly now that the School of Rock section is done. And I guess we're keeping the holiday in for Mean Girls, but in a perfect world where if this podcast makes sense, it makes sense completely to have a high school and like an elementary school.
It does make sense.
Next to each other.
Here's the thing. Theme park people, musicians, filmmakers, artists do things that make no sense all the time. There's just stuff where you're like, why did they decide that? So it would just make perfect sense to see a Holiday Inn, go into it and it be a Mean Girls attraction and be like, sure, I don't know.
I swear I thought you were gonna say us filmmakers, artists. They all stay in Holiday Inns. And so it just makes sense to have a Holiday Inn. But in a perfect world, I think having an elementary school and having a high school next to each other would make sense thematically, and they're all like beach themed or whatever.
Okay, we can do that.
But we could add the Holiday Inn. No, we have that. I just wanted to say, in a perfect world, that's probably what it would be most likely. But this is what we're going with, and we don't care about your filthy feelings, Snowflake.
For the integrity of the podcast.
For the integrity of the podcast. There you go. Move on to the last one of the day, the B movie.
Yeah.
The last ride of the day, the B movie. And you wanted this to be another show. Do you think it should be a ride or another show?
I think it should be a ride.
Gotcha.
I think it should.
It's in the courthouse. That's actually kind of fun.
It should just be, you go into it and it's just Jerry Seinfeld trying to defend Palestine. I mean, Israel. Shoot.
You messed up. It's okay.
Like, timestamp that. I don't think that even works. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
The B movie. So, number one, before we get into this ride, do you know how this movie got made?
Yes, you told me about this.
Okay.
I believe you have, yeah.
So, for our audience, Jerry Seinfeld had a meeting, I believe, with Steven Spielberg. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was Steven Spielberg. They're just chatting, and Jerry Seinfeld makes a joke and says, what if they just like made an animated kids movie called Bee Movie, but it was like about bees. Like, it wasn't a bee movie, it was about bees. Wouldn't that be funny? And Spielberg was like, yeah, cinema, I'm greenlighting it. And he went, wait. What?
Yeah, cinema.
Like, that entire movie was a joke. It was a joke for me, as someone that's trying to get movies pitched, it is the most infuriating thing in the world to hear that story.
Right, because you're like, what the heck is that?
Jerry Seinfeld makes an off-site comment at a dinner and ends up becoming a multi-million-dollar movie.
It truly shows that in the industry, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Number one, if you've ever seen the B movie, the man who is the antagonist of this movie is actually the protagonist. His girlfriend's having an affair on him. B.
He's considered an antagonist? I always thought it was a... Is he considered an antagonist?
People consider him the villain of the movie, I think.
Why? His wife is cheating on him with a freaking insect that lives for like a summer.
And like,
it's gonna die in like...
And like, how would they ever like have a family or make love?
We're getting to the real questions here at Disattractions. Human on bee intercourse. How does that work? We'll get into it here.
This is what you get when Kevin and I both
worked a long shift and are now tired.
Like long shifts today.
We worked long shifts and now we're at home recording a podcast.
Yeah. This would be this one should be the roller coaster since we already have the dark ride.
Gotcha.
You become a pollinator, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to pollination classes. The Q line is you graduating with your pollen PhD. Pollen HD.
You can just name it PhD and be like pollen.
Pollen
what
hydrate dogs.
Pollen hydrates dogs, dude. Pollen Helen DeGeneres.
I thought you were going to say Pollen Helen Keller. I was like, that isn't a D.
Dude, people know that Helen Keller was in the B movie.
Yeah. She's my favorite B in the B movie.
She is, dude. It's the H movie coming out later.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy on Instagram who's trying to make Helen Keller like a musical? And what was it called?
Yeah, I sent that to you.
It was like a rap musical or so. I was like, what is this?
I think he's trying to do what they did with Hamilton.
It was like slam poetry type stuff.
Why not? Good for him.
It was interesting. I was like, what is this?
I don't know why you'd be laying in bed and be like, okay, let's turn slam poetry about the life of Helen Keller. But hey, you know what? There's obviously a vision there. So
I guess so.
Anyway.
But yeah, I think they'll have in a beat. You're going to be a pollinator, and you go and you go outside, and there's like rain effects. It's like, oh no, there's rain.
Yeah.
And then like, oh no, and then you get to a part where like, of the roller coaster, you start pollinating plants. So like maybe you have a little gun on the ride. You go like, because in the movie they have little guns where they shoot their pollen.
Hits your face. And it hits it so hard. There's a little perfume that goes into your face, and it just makes you poop. All right.
Nice.
Cool. You pollinated the ride.
Gosh. But yeah, you go in there, and that happens, and then at some point on the ride just comes to this part where it's almost like a Hagrid's, where it goes in like this darker forest section. But then you come out and you see like it's a beautiful forest, and you see a picnic little table or like a picnic little blanket, and you see the wife of that guy, and you just start having an affair on the ride. And it's a requirement for everyone in the ride to experience that part.
You're like, in order to ride this ride, you have to go through adultery.
Yep, and then you exit the ride, and it's the actor who's playing the character of I forget what's his name. Patrick Warburton. Well, Patrick Warburton's character. Forget his name in the movie, but
the gift shop's divorce court.
It's literally you go out and you get a little sheet that says you filed for divorce.
Yeah, and the theme park prices, they're like, it's $300 for a judge.
But on a serious note, I think the pollinator would be fun, and I think it would really fit in kind of near the beach theme, in that you could like fly around and maybe go over the water a bit, and it's like, oh no, there's a winter storm coming. Why did you kiss my wife? Or it goes like 0 to 100. It's like you're on the ride and you're going on. It's like, pollinate this flower quick. Oh and no, the rain's coming. You gotta hide under a leaf.
It's playing that as a Zooey Deschanel sounding "Here Comes the Sun" cover in the movie.
It's like, here comes the sun. You're on it, and at one point it's like, It's like, oh no, I think that's Patrick Warburton's wife. She's got wine? What's going on? Guys, do you like jazz?
Ooh, they could play a jazz. Ooh, outside every 30 minutes there's a jazz show.
Yeah, do you like jazz? It's called Do You Like Jazz? And at the end of the ride, you have to stay on the ride until the whole entire script of the B movie is read to you.
They've resurrected Charles Mingus from the dead, and he's performing at the B movie ride.
There you go. Yep. He's getting paid $5 an hour.
Yeah.
To do it. But yeah.
It's like, I was pretty peaceful being dead. Why did you bring me back from this?
I'm going to call this ride the B movie Pollination Station.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. But yeah, it's the only theme park where you can get verbally berated by teenage women, learn about rock singers, and also commit adultery with a dude's wife.
Fun for the whole family.
At the beach. Fun for the whole family.
You'll go in as a family and you'll come out completely torn apart.
Yeah, dude, it's like Mario Party.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if anyone's ever had a divorce caused by Mario Party.
I'm sure. I don't know. Or Mario Kart or something.
Yeah.
For dining, we're going to move to dining because we need to speed up a little bit. We have an ice cream truck, and basically for here, because it's a beach, and also you could serve a lot of the old like ice cream truck staples. Like you have your Choco Tacos, you have your Push Pops, you have your SpongeBob Pops, your Sonic Pops. You know, all the fun stuff, all like the drumsticks and all that fun stuff. And I think that really fits in well with the park as a whole, since it is a beach and it's very early 2000s. And then I'm going to let you go off on this because I know you have a lot to say about it. I thought this, since we had to add one Pixar thing in here, and Disney over in America has not made this yet. So we were doing a Ratatouille restaurant on the beach. But I think it'd be cool if it was separate from Ratatouille's restaurant that he has at the end of the movie. Imagine if Ratatouille made a beach restaurant, like a little French beach cafe.
Yeah, and you could actually eat little Ratatouille, like the actual dish Ratatouille.
But it's
But Ratatouille got the pineapple in it. That's pretty cool because it's beachy.
Yeah, or you could even have the normal Ratatouille and have a different Ratatouille that's purely fruit. I don't know if that's a thing that they
and
ever
you can have
do.
little animated, like, you can not animated. You could have little like animatronic rats run your food to you. That'd be cute.
That would be cute. Or like have it on because like sushi places have those conveyor belt systems now where like it'll take you right to your table. Like it's impressive now. You can have the same thing, but like the rats are in the walls, and they deliver your little food. I think Remy having a little French beachside cafe would be cute. And you could get like coffee there and like pastries, French pastries.
Like get the like really buff rat in Ratatouille. His name is Get could come over and be like, "Bro, I made you some pizza. Here you go." And then he throws pizza on your table. He goes, "What's up? My name's Get the rat."
What's up? My name's Get, dude. Get some, dude. I heard you were getting it with that guy's wife over there. Right on.
Yeah, you know that B movie ride. Yeah, man, pretty cool over there, isn't it?
It's a totally immersive area, so whatever you get berated with at the Mean Girls area, every single freaking character will call you that for the rest of the day. They get a memo saying, "Call this person an idiot," for the rest of the day. This person in the blue shirt that says, "I love puppies," call her a freaking idiot the rest of the day.
Get comes out and verbally rates you the buff rat for Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Okay, I just looked up on the Pixar wiki facts about Get the rat. It says Get is a large, muscular, gray lab rat in the film Ratatouille, right? Mm-hmm. I first read that as gay.
I was like, wow, progressive.
Muscular gay lab rat in the movie Ratatouille. And I was like, what?
Nice. Do you want to solidify anything more about this Ratatouille restaurant?
It rules.
Be more specific.
Sorry.
This is your time to shine with Ratatouille. This is your favorite movie ever.
It is my favorite movie ever. Every half an hour, Anton Ego comes and says the final monologue from Ratatouille, and I cry. In the restaurant, a guy dressed up as Anton Ego, the chef critic, comes out, and he's like, "I love this restaurant with all of my heart. What you're eating right now is top of the line. If you don't like it, go to the Mean Girls attraction." Yeah.
Imagine if Anton Ego calls you gay.
If you don't like my Ratatouille, you are homosexual.
Yep.
I want that on a shirt.
Yeah. If you don't eat my Ratatouille, you are not homosexual.
I feel like it'd be fun if each month the rats tried to cook a new food.
Tried?
Yeah. Sure. So it's like the special of the month is like a food that they're like cooking for the first time, and it comes out and it's just like not quite right. Yeah,
and it's like, oh man, I was supposed to add cumin instead of pepper.
We're trying because they understand that like this isn't France, so they're trying to like cook a whole bunch of different types of food for the beach. So it's like we're making Chinese food this month, but like the rice just has a little bit of chloroform in it.
Nice. The rice is a little undercooked. Yeah. Imagine paying for food that's not made well. and they're knowing that. Yeah, the food's like more expensive because it's our special, but it's gonna be worse.
This is Disney theming right here.
Yeah, literally. It's like, Mom, what is this? I think that's mercury. We need to go to the hospital. Honey, honey, is that a diaper in there? Emil's platter, and it's just trash.
Honey, is that the divorce papers that we got at the B movie, right?
And it says, "You're an idiot." Signed, Emil.
This sounds like the
Anton says you're gay. Whoa! Also, it says I got a pollinator score of 2.5. What does that mean?
That means you can pollinate well, Dad.
Well, we pollinated that guy's wife, let me tell you.
Here comes the sun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's go listen to some jazz after you eat your trash. It's literally called a meal's plate. It's literally just called a meal's plate.
After I eat your trash. It's also a really good quote. Alright.
Moving on to shopping, because that was the end of that. We have a couple, and I think they're combined. I think it'd be funny if the area was the shopping was in the town, and it was two competing businesses. One's a Blockbuster and one's a Hollywood Video, and the other one's trying to get the other one out of business consistently.
And then the third one's the chum bucket.
For no reason, dude. No, it's called the bum bucket, dude. It's where all the homeless people live. The bum bucket. I love bum.
I'm a weirdo. What?
Dude, I'm gonna go on this next Christmas. I'm gonna go on my radio sled, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm a weirdo. So yeah, it's two competing businesses. One's a Blockbuster and one's a Hollywood Video, and they both have different products. And it's always kind of this little feud of who's trying to go out of business first, because obviously they're out of business. And so at Blockbusters and Hollywood Video, you can buy movies, you can buy popcorn, you can. For some reason, you decided to say you wanted to sell Diary of a Wimpy Kid merch.
Yeah. You could sell different movies at each location, and then vote for which ones had the better selection.
That would be cool, and then they get a 1 point, and then the actual employees of that specific store location get fired if they don't if they don't make their quota, if they shut down.
So we don't understand why you chose to stock Meet the Parents in store, but that movie's obviously not as good as
Hey,
the world. So you're
talking to a manager. His name's like Chris, and you're like, "Hey, Chris, why is there 300 copies of A Christmas Carol stocked out in the middle of July?"
How many VHSs of Jerry Maguire did you buy? We're not going to sell that many VHSs of Jerry Maguire today.
You're fired. Like if you don't beat Hollywood Video, you're gonna get fired.
Why on earth did you bring Spy Kids back?
And there's a chance that every single employee has a chance to go into work because no one bought the ticket or bought the suite at the Holiday Inn for the Mean Girls ride side, so they have to get somebody who works there to be berated to fill in that spot. And so there's a chance when you clock in that you'll get the position known as harassed, the harassment chair or something like. Oh man,
there's so much harassment in this theme park.
I mean, it is the early 2000s. That kind of fits.
Yeah, honestly.
But the one I thought a good idea for adding in shopping in stores, I thought was a good idea, is posters. Posters were huge. They kind of got down a little bit now. I don't see as many posters now. But back in the day, they would have a poster for everything. They have those giant areas of, they would just have walls of posters you could just flip through.
Yeah.
So adding posters would be cool.
I can't wait to decide between a Dark Side of the Moon poster or a Pulp Fiction poster.
Oh, I can't wait. Nowadays, it's Skibidi Toilet versus the Minecraft movie.
Yeah. Man, we have really entered Brain Rot era.
Yeah, dude, Brain Rot era is happening. The next movie is going to be Trivia Crack, the movie.
You know that they are making a Skibidi Toilet movie, right?
Yeah, they are. They also made a thing called Sneakers. Or Sneaks.
I saw that with Anthony Mackie.
That movie was bad. I didn't watch it. I could just tell it was bad.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either.
And the end credits, they play a song that they can't even play all the way through because it has bad words in it. So they bleep it out. It's bad.
That's really funny.
I forget what song it plays. It's like a Kendrick Lamar song or something, and they just bleep out the words it can't use. And so you're looking at the credits, and it's like, they don't bleep it out. It's just a silence. It's like, and it goes, but you're like, what? Okay.
Oh. That's wild. That's actually really funny. I want to look up if there's a video for that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like, why did they pick a song where they can't even say every single word in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's it, honestly. I'm trying to think of anything more that we see on our list here, but we already are. We just hit the hour mark, so we're doing pretty well on time. I guess we can go towards the conclusion. So I guess to recap everything, because it's been said. But honestly, what's kind of fun about this park is that everything is connected from what we said with our ideas. You can get harassed at Mean Girls, get called that same harassment at a completely different stall. Imagine you experiencing the Blu-ray Beach Park. You walk in, you go to Mean Girls first, you sit in the chair, and they're like, oh, you're going to be the one being harassed. You get harassed in front of every single freaking person in that thing. You get called an idiot. Then later that day, you're like, I just need to get away from this. I'm going to go to Hollywood Video to pick up a movie. And you go up to Hollywood Video, and as you check out, he says, hello, oh, I heard you guys called an idiot today, dude. You're a loser. And you're like, how'd you hear that? It's all over town. And then your face, you go to a billboard, and your face is just on, like taking a picture of you is just on the billboard that says loser. That's ever changing. Like on a digital screen.
And now, in order to leave the park before it closes, they charge you $50.
Yep. And then you go on the pollinator ride, and then every person that's like hasn't gone on the B movie ride yet is not an affairee just yet, so they're clean. So on their record, they're known as clean. But every person that does end up going on the ride, they're just called an affairee. So like that's just tallied for no reason, and so they have that information about you, whether or not you've been on the B movie ride or not.
You ride the B movie ride? Man, I don't know if we can hire you. Please, I need to support my family.
We'll hire you, but you only stay on if you beat out Hollywood Video in the competition. So please don't stock out Home on the Range 15 times a day. We don't need to stock that out.
Man, I love Home on the Range. It's my favorite anime.
That's great, dude.
Yeah, my favorite anime.
I had someone call SpongeBob an anime recently, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you believe hard enough, anything can be anime.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. The Vietnam War was the best anime.
Oh.
But okay, we'll go back to the review. So the area is called Blu-ray Beach, based off of old early 2000s and 90s movies. It's based off of beach, just in general, because that's just a cool idea. The main three rides, we'll start off with Mean Girls, is not even a ride. It's an experience that just you get harassed at. You get into just Coliseum-style seating where one person is the lucky winner to get harassed by a crowd.
Everything about it's a good idea.
Yeah, and it's Holiday Inn for some reason. And then next to it is School of Rock, which is a dark ride basically informing children of past rock and roll influences and maybe the history of rock and roll. That makes sense. That's a good way to phrase it. Which is probably the most wholesome and good idea that we've had out of this whole entire freaking godforsaken list that we've created.
What are you talking about? The Affair B movie ride is great.
It's just called The Affair. That's the movie. That's the ride. It's just called The Affair. Honey, like, Mom, I want to go on The Affair. What? I'm not having an affair with your father. No, I want to go on The Affair.
Mom, can we ride Infidelity? What are you talking about? I want to go on Infidelity.
Yeah.
Or are you trying to pronounce it differently? No. That's what it's called. It's called Infidelity.
Yeah. Right next to infertility. But yeah, so then the next one is the B movie ride, which we just basically said is like a Polynesian roller coaster where you go around and then you cheat on your wife for some reason. And then dining is you have an ice cream truck, which is kind of normal, which has a whole bunch of old 90s, 2000s ideas stored within. Then you got your Ratatouille restaurant, which is a little cafe, beachside cafe that Remy made, where Git has a little stage show where he strips.
Oh.
And Ratatong comes in and they start making out.
Yo. Heck yeah.
Because he is gay, right? On the wiki.
Yeah, get
Get it is gay. Get
Get-
gay, dude.
it.
Get gay. Put that on a t-shirt.
Right now. That's crazy.
Then for shopping, we have the two rival Blockbuster and Hollywood Videos who, if depending on how many sales each of them get in a year's amount of time, the other employees will get fired.
Yes, it has to happen.
And that is absolutely everything. What an insane episode of Disattractions we have today.
This was good.
Totally good. Guess there's no point in going on a probability rating for this. Do you want to try to give a probability rating?
Everything's an 11.
Okay.
It already exists in my head.
It's gonna be at the Universal Kids Park in Texas.
Yes.
All of this is happening.
Every single aspect of this thing is happening.
All right. Well, if that's the case, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Disattractions. This is silly. Again, to kind of reiterate, this is going to be a multi-step process or episode series.
We might have to revisit this part of the park too later.
Yeah, specifically.
And be like, what did we actually did we actually pitch an infidelity right based off the Theme movie? Maybe we should fix that. I can feel like later we're gonna be like, this is kind of wild, but hey, we did it.
We did it, and it'll be fun. It'll be just a fun memory, and so I guess what to say here is that please like and subscribe or interact with anything on one of ours if you like our content. We really appreciate you guys. Hopefully this will you guys will like this type of style, and maybe having really focused on one land at a time out of a whole theme park as a core idea might be cool. But just let us know how you feel about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'd like to say. Anything else you got going on, Brett, you want to say? Or
I mean, I got my projects coming up. I did an art booth recently, my first art booth under Hingercliff, so that's something I'm starting. It's an art project by myself. That's exciting. Got some films coming out this year too under A1 and A2 Productions. Workshop of Humanity still going strong. So yeah, all that's doing well.
sounds good. I guess we'll see you in the next episode. Have a good night, everybody.
Comment below. Did you ever have to file a divorce because of Mario Party?